Hello and welcome to The Whiteout. Now, in true 2021 style, we have gone virtual. Now, I'm definitely missing the slopes right now, so I wanted to drag you away from the regular news and Netflix and just give you a little bit of what's going on in the mountains for the next 20 minutes. Of course, I'm virtually joined by my glamorous co-host, Rob Stewart. How's lockdown 3.0 for you, Rob?
Oh, hi, Emily. Yeah, thanks for that. Glamorous. I don't know. Well, I certainly don't feel very glamorous with this lockdown hair that I've got at the moment. It's been a challenge, hasn't it, for many of us, and obviously frustrating. We can't get out into the mountains and onto the slopes right now, but I am being patient, and I know we will be able to travel and get out there again. So that's great, and one thing I know for sure is that first day back on skis is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out on the snow. Now, of course, we have to mention the current situation. Now, the travel's not looking great now, Rob, is it?
No, it's not. I know some people are holding out for that late season skiing, but most tour operators have cancelled holidays up until the end of March, early April at the very earliest. And it's hard to know what's going to happen after that. I mean, it is a shame for this season, but one positive we are seeing out of this is the strong bookings that tour operators have been taking for the 2021-22 season. They're really up on any other year with bookings. So that's really good to see and very positive for next winter.
Yeah, and that's great to see. I mean, we are missing the mountains, very much so. But we are not. So not only the Brits who are in that situation, it's the whole of Europe. We will be out there as soon as we can, I'm sure.
Yeah, the people that are managing to get out into the mountains and experience the snowy conditions right now are the ones that are living locally. Countries such as Switzerland and Canada and Andorra and Japan, actually, they've got their ski areas open right now. And obviously with really strong COVID measures in place. But they are operating normally, whilst, say, in France, for example, the ski lifts are shut, although technically the resorts are open. So local people and even regions can go to the mountains and ski tour, for example. So we've seen a lot of that happening this winter over the Alps, that sort of real growth in people going out into the mountains, even when the lifts are shut.
Yeah, the ski touring, we have seen a little boost in that, but it is important to just remember that, you do have to have a lot of knowledge about the mountain and be really safe if you were going to be going out and doing that.
Absolutely. Just to say, Emily, we have got ski touring section in this programme where I'm just going to go through some of the gear that's needed for ski touring, but also touch a little bit on the safety aspect as well.
Perfect. So keep tuned in. So Rob will give you all the do's and don'ts for ski touring later on. So although us tourists can't get to the mountains right now, there is a lot going on in the ski world. Rob, why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Okay, ski news. So if you've been following alpine ski racing this winter, it's been fantastic because they have been racing, and Great Britain's Dave Riding has been doing really well, and he even got a podium place, a bronze medal at Adelboden just after the new year. So that's fantastic to see. And also Izzy Aitken, Great Britain's Izzy Aitken, got a silver medal at the X Games as well. Sadder news, we've heard from Amy Fuller, 11 years athlete on the circuit. Great Britain snowboarder has decided to retire this season. 2 Olympic Games under her belt as well, but she's a fantastic character, and I'm sure we'll see her on our screens soon as well. I love this story. Over in Finland, it's a bit like the Boris bikes of skiing. The city of Lahti has decided to set up 3 stations throughout the city where you can go along, a little bit like the Boris bikes. You rent cross-country skis and then you can get around the city. It's a fantastic idea, and I'd love to go and try that out. Finally, though, I've enjoyed watching Eddie the Eagle, the movie, a few times now. But the legendary ski racer Franz Klammer, that was so famous in the 70s and 80s, they're going to make a movie about him. I'm really looking forward to going and seeing that.
I love the fact that they've got like the Boris bike equivalent of skis over in Finland. That's epic.
That's amazing.
I've got to say though, Rob, I'm quite surprised you didn't mention this story. Our ski and snowboard pictures are the ones which get the swipe right on Tinder. So apparently, according to, obviously I wouldn't know, recently engaged, but apparently Club Med did a study, and they found out that those skiing and snowboarding pictures are actually, doing pretty well out there. So no more getting your picture of your tiger or your lion. It's all about your ski holiday pictures.
Well, I did hear about that as well, Emily. But Tinder passed me by as well. But everyone loves a skier.
No, let's not show your age there, Rob. So although we can't get to the snow right now, we can still lust over it. So Megan, why don't you tell us what's been going on with the snowfalls over there? Please don't make me cry.
Well, Emily, there have been some amazing snowfalls across the world so far this year. I mean, even here in southeast London, we've got a little bit of snow, so that is making me very happy. Close to home, up in Scotland, it's the snowiest winter in over a decade up there. Such a shame that we can't actually get up to the ski resorts there. Obviously, they're not open at the moment, but some incredible images coming out of there and giving us a lot of inspiration for next winter's ski trip. Over in France, they've also had loads of snow out there. The resorts aren't open, but some people are ski touring, snowshoeing, hiking. Of course, the avalanche risk is really high out there at the moment, though, so it does pay to be careful if you are in those areas. Other places like Austria, Canada, even Japan, resorts are open to locals, and we are very jealous of those locals. But us Brits are not ones to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. So we're going to make the most of what we've got, and over the last few days, you guys have been sending in some incredible pictures and videos of what you've been up to. Enjoying the snow right here in the UK. Now, one person that has been enjoying the snow for the last few months, very lucky, is our technique editor Warren Smith, who is based out in Verbier, where of course the resort has been open sort of since the start of the season. Now, Verbier has been in the headlines a little bit quite recently. Over Christmas, there were rumours that Brits had sort of done a mass exodus in the middle of the night, fleeing because of new quarantine restrictions. Now, we caught up with Warren to sort of get the actual facts on this story, and also ask him for some tips and tricks for powder skiing next winter, or whenever the next snowfall in the UK is.
Hi everybody, my name's Warren Smith. I'm a ski coach here in Verbier, Switzerland, running our ski academy. The guys in the snow have also asked us to talk a bit about this season. I know it's been in the press quite a lot. It's been an interesting season for us, a much slower season, but we're just grateful that we're running. Tele Verbier, these guys here have done an incredible job keeping the lift system working and keeping it safe. The conditions have been great for us. Our clients over the last 4 or 5 weeks have been skiing quite a lot of powder. So we've just kept things going, but at a slower rate. There was all sorts of things in the press as well about, mass exodus, and people ask us those questions as well. We didn't really see that happen as far as we're concerned. So we've just been plodding on at a much slower rate. And I think we wanted to talk a little bit about, powder skiing with you guys today. We noticed over the last 4 or 5 weeks with the clients that were skiing with us, it was so vital for them to be in a good position with their upper body. We talk a lot of technique about how the legs work and how things steer, and to give you a pointer, being progressive with your movements in powder is so important. If you move suddenly, that snow builds up against the ski and it's a bit like hitting a brick wall. So when you're thinking about your pressuring of your skis, your steering of your skis, and your leaning movements, make sure they're happening in a progressive way. If they happen progressively, you've got way more chance of success and succeeding at linking up your turns. The second point I wanted to talk about is your upper body management, because this is the one thing, if we see people skiing their way down the powder and one hand drops back towards the end of the turn, it's not very forgiving. On piste and places like this, you can get away with balance mistakes. You can pick yourself back up. But in powder, it kind of bites you a bit harder. There's much less room for forgiveness. So make sure that when you are skiing, think about managing your upper body, keeping the hands in this position, raising your shoulders slightly and engaging your core, making sure your poles are being driven by your hand movement and not your arm movement. That's what pulls people out of balance. Upper body management's essential for this, and you want to know that you can connect a pole plant to give you 4 points of balance, not just your feet, but your skis as well. Also today, guys, I'm skiing on the Vocal Deacon 84. It's probably the best all-rounder ski that we've used. Loads of our clients ski on it. Carves great on piste, but holds us up on powder as well. So they're just 2 pointers for you guys. Hope they work, and we look forward to seeing you a few more times this season.
Oh, it looks amazing out there, Warren. I am seriously envious of those conditions right now. Now, Rob, I know you've been looking up some weird and wonderful places to go and ski. So what next is on your bucket list?
A couple of years ago, I was lucky enough to go skiing in the country of Georgia. It was fantastic, and you can watch the segment we did for it in the first ever Whiteout edition. But, you know, for most of us this winter, we haven't been able to get anywhere. So if you're looking at the 2021-22 winter and thinking, I just want to go somewhere a bit different and do something special, then I've got a few suggestions for you. So first up on that list is the country of Iran. Might not be the first place that comes to mind when you're planning a ski holiday, but actually with lots of mountains across the whole country and cold winters, they do have some good little ski resorts. Dizin and Shemshak are the main ones, just a couple of hours drive from the capital city of Tehran, which you could obviously combine with a ski trip there, or maybe just stop off in Istanbul as well for a night or two. I know tour operator Mountain Heaven operates holidays there. They have been doing that for a few years and they've all gone without a hitch, and the feedback I get from those guys is fantastic. So that's definitely one for me to look out for. Second up is the country of Uzbekistan. Now, a couple of years ago, I visited neighbouring country Kazakhstan and saw some of the ski resorts around Almaty, which are pretty established. But Uzbekistan's getting in on the act now, and they've opened a new ski resort just last winter called Amisoy. 15 kilometres of pistes, which is, you know, a good start, and they've got a brand new gondola and chairlift installed, as well as a 5-star chalet hotel on site as well. And they plan to link that resort up with a couple of neighbouring resorts that are already there as well. So very interesting developments in Uzbekistan. Of course, you could fly into Tashkent, the capital city, and you could also visit the historic city of Samarkand too. So pretty cool story to tell your mates down the pub when you get home, that one. Third on my list is Turkey. Already got a very established ski industry in Turkey. And of course, it's not surprising considering the amount of mountains that cover the country. One of the key resorts is Palandöken, right in the northeast, close to the city of Erzurum. It's got 40 kilometres of ski runs, so relatively speaking it's quite large, and it goes to over 3,000 metres in altitude as well. There's lots of other ski areas covering the whole country, but perhaps for me the most interesting thing is some of the heli skiing they've got there. There's a Swiss-based company called Turkey Heliski, and they run an operation there, and they've got some of the best guides, including Sam Anthematten, the World Freeride Tour legend. There's a couple of words that come to mind, but I think of that trip. Turkish delight. Sorry about that. Last but not least is the landlocked country of North Macedonia. There's only a couple of small commercial ski areas in the country, one of them being Popova Sapka, not too far from the capital city of Skopje. So you could combine a city visit with a ski, but maybe again more interestingly is the cat skiing and freeride ski touring that's available in the country, and that's led by a company called Shah Outdoors, and they run these trips. They have been running these trips for quite a number of years, and they look a lot of fun. If you want to do some cat skiing, which is obviously in a cat machine, rather than a helicopter, but you access off-piste terrain. I'd have a look at this because it looks like a great option. So that's another one on the list for me, that's for sure. So all of these countries, really cool places to go. Obviously very different from what we might be used to experiencing in, say, the Alps and the Pyrenees, North America or Scandinavia. Different kind of infrastructure. But, you know, they offer something that we can't find in those traditional places. And for me, I certainly know I'd like to keep on going and ticking some of these destinations off the list, hopefully next winter.
So it's all been pretty challenging for us lately, and it's particularly challenging for those charities. Now, one of the charities which involved in GB snow sports is the Ellie Soutter Foundation. Now, the Ellie Soutter Foundation is something which is really close to my heart. Ellie was an athlete who I used to train with. She was a snowboarder, I was a skier, but very talented athlete, and unfortunately took her own life on her 18th birthday due to, you know, mental pressures and things like that. Now, her dad, Tony, and their family it's unbelievable what they've done. They've flipped it on its head, and he now wants to alleviate those pressures, what Ellie had as an athlete, and support those athletes and support their families financially with mental health support and everything what he can do.
I mean, it is a fantastic foundation, and they've done such great work over the last few years. But we were lucky enough to catch up with two of their young athletes, Maisie Potter and Charlie Lane. And we asked them exactly how the foundation was helping them out.
So first question, really, I'll ask kind of you, Charlie. What does the funding from the Ellie Soutter Foundation, like, what does it really mean?
It helps provide me with the opportunity to like stay out in the mountains, because it's obviously so expensive to stay out. And it's a struggle for my family. Like, my mum and dad are working really hard to try and keep me out here. So it's kind of a relief as well to get the funding they give me.
Maisie, maybe you can tell us how it sort of helped in a financial way.
Yeah, it's helped me in loads of ways, like not just financially as well, but also just that contact and that backing of pushing for me. So it's not always me going to someone. They can go to someone for me. In Morsing, they've sorted me out like a gym and a massage and physio. So it's also just having that contact. What's your goal for the next 2 years? Oh, my goal is to go to the Olympics next February in Beijing. And obviously I don't want to limit myself on where I have to train or how many days on snow I need. I want like as many as everyone else that's fully funded, you know, like I don't want to disadvantage myself. So all this financial backing just means I can do as many days on snow as everyone else. And Charlie, what about you? I mean, what do you think there's anything that you're doing right now, like literally right now, that the foundation's helped you with that you may not have been able to do without that? Right now, I probably wouldn't even be here without the foundation. Like, right. Wow. Also being abroad, I'm away more than I'm like abroad more than I'm in England. So with the funding they give me, it's really helped with my training, and I can progress way more with the funding. Yeah, good luck to you both. We'll be looking out for you, and definitely excited to see your progress in the next year or two.
Oh, it was great to catch up with those athletes, Charlie and my old teammate Maisie, and it's great to see actually firsthand how much of a difference a foundation like that can make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without the foundation support, Maisie and Charlie just wouldn't be able to, you know, their dream of getting to the Olympics wouldn't happen. I was also lucky enough to catch up with the founder, Tony Soutter, and I asked him exactly how the charity was working. Thanks a lot for joining me, and you're going to tell us a little bit about the Ellie Soutter Foundation. First question I've got is, how many athletes now is the foundation currently supporting?
Well, since the foundation started, we've gained 4 athletes, Maisie Hill, Mia Brooks, Charlie Lane, and now Maisie Potter. And we're so proud to announce that we've just recently been able to sponsor Air Roland Evans. She's a GB bobsleigh monobob athlete. Great. And we've managed to do that through a mentoring program with the True Athlete Project.
What's the criteria for the athletes? How do you choose what athlete you're going to take on next?
Well, athletes apply to us for grant funding through the application on our website. However, I must stress that it is actually all the athletes are means tested. And that means that we can only provide grant funding for them if they couldn't do or progress in their sport without our funding.
Okay. And obviously, we've all been affected by the COVID pandemic, and charities I know have been really hit hard. How has it affected you and the foundation?
We've probably lost in excess of £100,000 in fundraising, which has meant we're really struggling to support our current athletes at the moment. We've had to think creatively out the box now and find new ways to raise funds, which we've been doing virtually if we can. And we've recently launched our new funding packages, which I mentioned a minute ago, which enable people or businesses to be able to support us in many different levels, starting from as little as €1, right up to 30, 40,000.
And what about the future? Where do you see this going, and where do you see the foundation going for the future?
But we're looking to really increase the well-being of athletes and bring about awareness of and the consequences of concussion in winter sport, which is quite a big thing.
Yeah, sure. Great. Okay. And if anybody out there would like to help, would like to get involved, maybe would like to donate some money as well, what should they do? Where should they go and look for information?
Well, it's as simple as just go to our website, theelliesoutter.foundation. You'll see on there's a donate button, and you can donate as little as £1. But if you wanted to be one of the new partners to an athlete, etc., from 500 ups, there's some amazing packages for personal and corporate people. So, please just go on the website and have a look.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Thanks, Tony. Thanks very much.
So Rob, you've already mentioned that there's a bit of a boom in ski touring, and I see that you've got a load of your equipment there in your office. So you're going to talk us through all of your stash and tell us what we need?
So I'm going to take you through really quickly the essential kit that you're going to need when you're going to start ski touring. And I'm going to show you my setup, which is really a hybrid sort of free ride ski touring setup. I'll start with the ski boots, really important, of course, and really important to get them fitted and comfortable, especially if you're ski touring, because you get a lot of movement there. This is Salomon Shift Pro 120. It's very similar to a normal Alpine downhill ski boot. Main key differences are the pins at the front on the toe that fit into the pin bindings, which we'll come to. An extra grippy sole on the bottom, and also a walk mode as well, so when you're walking up. So they're the key differences. Essentially though, this is very similar to an Alpine ski boot. It's just a bit lighter. But if you were going for a longer ski tour, you'd want an even lighter weight touring boot than this. With the skis, again, I've got a kind of hybrid setup here. I've got a free ride ski, 99mm underfoot, with a Salomon Shift binding on it, which is like a hybrid again. It's a really cool binding. There are similar ones out there as well, like the Markaduke PT, for example, kind of similar setup. And you can ski all day on these bindings, downhill skiing all day. But when you want a ski tour, you can just change things around a bit. The pins of the boots fit into the pins on the bindings at the front, and the heel obviously allows the heel of the binding allows the boot to lift up, so when you walk up it's very easy. Of course, that's the whole thing with ski touring. So the other thing you're going to need if you're touring is some skins to go on the bottom of the skis. Very simple really. Skins are just grippy things that go on the bottom of the skis with a bit of glue on the bottom that stick to the bases, and at the top of the mountain you take them off and away you go. The other thing with ski touring is your poles. So you could use your normal ski poles, no problem with that. But it is quite nice to have a telescopic pole like the one I've got here. So if you're going up, you might want it a little bit higher and set it at your normal length when you're skiing down. But also when you're traversing, you might want one a little bit higher than the other. And you can see on these poles here, I've got a grip that runs down a little bit lower down the pole as well, the shaft of the pole. Just easy, makes it easy to change the length of the grip when you need to quickly. And on the bottom you've got large baskets, which obviously when you're ski touring are pretty important, so they grip in the snow and also don't sink down into the snow. So yeah, that's a very simple, very quick rundown of your essential ski touring equipment. As I said, that's a hybrid setup. If you're going for longer ski tours, you'd want lighter boots and lighter skis and a lighter pin binding as well. But certainly if you're starting off and you want to mix and match a little bit, That's a perfect way to go.
Before we go, we could all be doing with a little bit of light-hearted joy in these times. So we have found some of the best and most bonkers videos over the last few months.
Watch, learn, and don't try at home.
Oh, I love those little videos. They definitely make me smile. So if you want a few more smiles in your lockdown, make sure that you check out all the social media on In the Snow on their Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.
So that's it for another episode of The Whiteout, our first virtual edition. Let's hope we see you all soon out on the slopes again.